Imagine a night when an entire nation celebrates a failed terrorist attack. Every November 5th, Britain lights up the sky with fireworks, burns effigies, and chants, "Remember, remember the 5th of November." But why do millions celebrate a 400-year-old execution? The truth behind Bonfire Night is darker than you think. Welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we are diving into one of Britain's most explosive traditions. Bonfire Night, also known as Guy Fawkes Night, commemorates an event so shocking that it changed the course of British history forever. This is not just about fireworks and bonfires. This is about religious warfare, political conspiracy, and a plot that nearly wiped out the entire British government in one devastating blast. To understand Bonfire Night, we need to travel back to early 17th century England. The year is 1605, and Britain is torn apart by religious conflict. King James I, a Protestant monarch, rules over a deeply divided nation. Catholics face severe persecution. They cannot practice their faith openly, cannot hold public office, and face heavy fines just for attending Mass. For decades, English Catholics hoped for tolerance. When King James took the throne in 1603, some believed he might ease restrictions. His mother, Mary, Queen of Scots, had been Catholic. Surely he would show mercy. But they were wrong. James not only continued the persecution, he intensified it. Catholic priests were hunted down and executed. Families were torn apart. The pressure was unbearable. A small group of Catholic conspirators decided they had endured enough. If the king would not grant them religious freedom, they would remove him from power, permanently. And not just the king. They would destroy the entire Protestant establishment in one catastrophic moment. The mastermind behind this audacious plot was Robert Catesby, a wealthy Catholic gentleman with nothing left to lose. His father had been persecuted for his faith. His family fortune had been drained by recusancy fines, penalties for refusing to attend Protestant services. Catesby gathered 12 other conspirators, men who shared his desperation and his rage. Their plan was breathtakingly simple and terrifyingly effective. They would blow up the House of Lords during the state opening of Parliament. When King James, his eldest son, Prince Henry, the lords, the bishops, and most of the Protestant aristocracy would all be gathered in one place. The explosion would decapitate the entire government. To execute this plan, they needed a military man, someone with experience handling explosives from the European wars. They recruited Guy Fawkes, a soldier who had fought for Catholic Spain in the Netherlands. Fawkes was battle-hardened, loyal, and fearless. He became the man who would light the fuse. The conspirators rented a cellar directly beneath the House of Lords. Over several months, they secretly stockpiled 36 barrels of gunpowder in that underground chamber. That is nearly 2 tons of explosives, enough to reduce the entire Parliament building to rubble and kill everyone inside. Guy Fawkes took charge of the gunpowder. He disguised himself as a servant named John Johnson and waited in the cellar, preparing for the moment when he would ignite the barrels and change history forever. The date was set, November 5th, 1605. But conspiracies are fragile things. The plotters began to worry about Catholic lords who would be in Parliament that day. They did not want to kill their own allies. One conspirator, likely Francis Tresham, could not bear the thought of his brother-in-law, Lord Monteagle, dying in the blast. On October 26th, Lord Monteagle received an anonymous letter warning him to stay away from Parliament. The letter was cryptic but clear. They shall receive a terrible blow this Parliament, and yet they shall not see who hurts them. Monteagle immediately took the letter to the king's ministers. King James read the letter and immediately understood its meaning. A terrible blow could only mean one thing: gunpowder. He ordered a search of the Parliament buildings. On the night of November 4th, just hours before the state opening, guards descended into the cellar beneath the House of Lords. There they found Guy Fawkes, dressed in a cloak and hat, standing among 36 barrels of gunpowder. In his pocket were matches and a slow-burning fuse. When arrested, Fawkes showed no remorse. He gave his name as John Johnson and refused to reveal his fellow conspirators. When asked what he intended to do with so much gunpowder, his response was chilling: "To blow you Scots beggars back to your native mountains." Guy Fawkes was taken to the Tower of London. King James authorized torture, something rarely done to English gentlemen, but permitted for cases of treason. For days, Fawkes was subjected to the rack, a device that slowly pulled his body apart. You can still see his signatures from before and after torture. The difference is shocking. His handwriting degenerates from clear letters to barely recognizable scrawls. Finally, Fawkes broke. He revealed the names of his fellow conspirators. Most were hunted down and killed resisting arrest. Robert Catesby died in a shootout at Holbesher House, shot in the face while making a desperate last stand. The survivors, including Guy Fawkes, faced a traitor's death. On January 31st, 1606, they were dragged through the streets of London to the Old Palace Yard at Westminster. There they were hanged, drawn and quartered, the most brutal execution in English law. Fawkes, weakened by torture, managed one final act of defiance. He jumped from the gallows, breaking his neck and dying before the worst of the torture could be inflicted. Parliament declared November 5th a national day of thanksgiving. Churches held special services. Communities lit bonfires to celebrate the king's survival. The tradition grew over the years. People began burning effigies of Guy Fawkes on the bonfires. Children would make guys from old clothes stuffed with straw and wheel them through the streets, asking for a penny for the guy. The celebration became deeply embedded in British culture. Even today, 4 centuries later, Bonfire Night remains one of Britain's biggest annual celebrations. Cities and towns across the United Kingdom organize massive bonfire and firework displays. Families gather around flames, eating toffee apples and jacket potatoes. Children recite the old rhyme. Remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. But here is where the story gets complicated. Over time, Guy Fawkes has transformed from villain to folk hero for some. In the modern era, he has become a symbol of rebellion against authority. The Guy Fawkes mask, popularized by the graphic novel and film V for Vendetta, is now worn by protesters worldwide, from anonymous hackers to Occupy Wall Street demonstrators. Was Guy Fawkes a terrorist trying to murder hundreds of innocent people? Or was he a freedom fighter resisting religious oppression? The answer depends on your perspective. What is undeniable is that his actions and his failure shaped British history in profound ways. So this November 5th, when you see fireworks lighting up the British sky, remember you are watching the celebration of a failed assassination plot. You are witnessing a tradition born from religious conflict, political violence, and one man's desperate attempt to blow up the government. If you found this history as explosive as I did, smash that like button and subscribe for more fascinating stories from around the world. Drop a comment below telling me, should we still celebrate Bonfire Night, or is it time to let this dark chapter of history fade away? And if you want to learn about more surprising origins of famous traditions, check out the video I made about Halloween's ancient Celtic roots. Until next time, keep exploring history with me. Remember the 5th of November.